Your signature style isn't just about how you dress, it's about the real you. So, the definition of essence is that quality without which a thing would not be what it is. So, your signature style journey is about discovering the essence of you and who you're meant to be in the world. Have you explored all the style systems and still not found yourself in any of them? I'm Rebecca Mielke, and I translate personality and style systems into design principles you can use to create a signature style that actually feels like you. This is my 100th podcast episode. And if you're watching this on YouTube, that's why there's no visuals, because this is actually a podcast. As your next step or first step to self-discovery, I invite you to download my Body Design Basics Guide. You can find the link in the show description or at my website, signaturestylesystems.com. Now, for this 100th episode, I'm about to get personal. So I was journaling recently and I asked myself a question that inspired this episode. The question was, what is that fear? At the moment, I must have been feeling some fear. The answer to that question in the moment was that I have this tendency to think that if I don't conform, I am going to get cut off from the pack somehow or lose some benefit that I could have by conforming to the expectation of others. I kind of think this is social survival instinct, like if you're familiar with Enneagram. But anyway, in this case, as I'm journaling about this, here's what hits me. This fear is completely backwards. So when we abandon our authentic selves to conform, we actually are cutting ourselves off from the life that we're meant to live. In my belief structure, this is the life that's meant to flow through me. And it comes from Romans 12:2, the verse being, "Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your minds, so that you may discern what is the will of God, what is good and acceptable and perfect." And then the second verse that came together in my mind with this to form this new understanding was John 15:5, which is, "I'm the vine, you are the branches. Those who abide in me and I in them bear much fruit, because apart from me, you can do nothing." So I was able to see that when I choose to conform to the expectations of others, I'm turning my back on both me and what God wants to do through me. And here's some other notes on why this is a bad thing, besides just in my spiritual view in general, it being a bad. But for everyone, regardless of your spiritual viewpoint, conformity in style choices often represents a deeper conformity that stifles your unique contribution. And then the very thing that we think is going to connect us to others, because there is such a thing as what is it? Homophily, where you love other people who are like you. But if you are completely not yourself, it actually disconnects us from our true purpose, and then ironically, from genuine connection with others. I mean, if they don't actually know you, you're not connecting. Our signature style emerges when we honor what's natural and inherent to us, not what other people expect. So I believe each of us is a masterpiece, and the life that flows through each person is meant to be unique, unrepeatable, and necessary for the world. But when we try to be like everyone else, we block that flow. So I think it's really important. Like, we need everybody. We've got so many problems in the world right now. So anyway, since I've been on this self-discovery journey, I've noticed something that's really beautiful. The more I understand myself, the closer I actually feel to God. So the work of self-discovery, it's not a distraction from spiritual growth, it's actually part of it. Your aesthetic preferences, here's some advantages why you might want to also take this path. Your aesthetic preferences reveal something true about you at your deepest level. And then you learn to trust your internal compass, which teaches you to distinguish between your own voice and the world's expectations. I think sometimes we get bogged down, or I do anyway, trying to discern like between my voice and God's voice, but I don't think that is as important as distinguishing between your voice and the voice of conformity. Then expressing your authentic self becomes a form of worship because God made you the way He did. It was His choice. And He is 100% for you. When you stand with yourself in this way, you are standing with Him. So when you discover the aesthetic that truly resonates with your essence, it can be a genuinely spiritual experience. There's a recognition, relief, and a sense of coming home to yourself. This is how I try to describe it. It's like a place inside you that only you and God or the universe or whoever, however your spiritual framework works, can really experience. And to the degree that you're able to share it with the world, then you give the rest of us a gift, the gift of yourself. My vision is that every human is respected for their unique contribution. And then when that happens, we can solve our world's pressing problems. Being yourself is part of that contribution. Think about what happens when you see someone who's truly expressing their essential self, either through signature style or through their contribution to the world. If it's through their signature style, they're giving you permission to honor your own preferences. And then they demonstrate that there's room for everyone's unique expression and remind you that conformity isn't actually required for belonging. So discovering and developing a signature style isn't actually selfish, it's generous. When you show up as who you actually are, you create space for others to do the same. You become part of universal flourishing rather than universal conformity. And then just because of how my brain works, I like to use systems for self-discovery. So here's what's beautiful about understanding the principles behind what works for you. So systems help you distinguish between what you actually like and what you've been conditioned to like. It's ironic and a little humorous to me that whenever the styles change, there's this vast majority of people who say, I've always liked that thing, whatever it is that's just coming into style. But yeah, when you understand why you like something, then it's easier for you to parse those two things. So frameworks give you language for what you're experiencing internally. And then understanding helps you take strategic action rather than staying stuck in analysis. And then example of this is, say, for example, that high-waisted pants really, really work well in your for your body type. You can stretch that when they become popular, you can stretch that trend by buying them early, and then by still, like, when they aren't in the stores anymore because we're wearing low rise again, you can find them at the thrift store. So the body design basics in the free guide aren't just about flattering your figure. They're about understanding how your physical form wants to be honored and expressed. And typically, when you then go on to discover your aesthetic in the Essential Signature Style Guide, we actually see most of the technical design concepts that show up in your favorite visual images also show up on your body, or vice versa. In other words, what you are is what you like. So here's what I've learned about the spiritual journey of finding your signature style. It requires courage to honor your own interests and styles, even when they don't match what's trending or what other people expect. This journey connects you to something larger than yourself, while simultaneously connecting you more deeply to yourself. The more authentically you express who you are, the more you contribute to the collective good. Abandoning your authentic self to conform is the most effective way to cut yourself off from the life you're meant to live. But choosing to discover and express your signature style, that is a step toward choosing to let life flow through you the way it's meant to. Here's something simple you can do this week to integrate these principles into your wardrobe. Set aside time for a style meditation. Ask yourself, what do I fear? Then spend some time journaling about it. If you're ready to do the deeper work of discovering your signature style as a spiritual practice, I invite you to explore my Essential Signature Style Guide. This is where you discover the aesthetic that truly resonates with your essence. Thanks for being here for the Signature Style Systems podcast. Have fun being you, and I'll meet you back here again real soon.